Find a comfortable position and focus on your breathing. Bring all your attention back to your body, to your awareness, to the area that's available to you always, ever since you were born. So come back to that area, become that area, and start relaxing the energy field that's created by your organs and your limbs. Through your breath, as you breathe, you bring peace and serenity to your source, to the origin from where the thought comes forth. Bring the thought back to its origin, bring your awareness back within your body, and allow your awareness to become an intention of peace, an intention of surrender that helps your body, helps your spirit relax and find safety. Whenever we direct our attention at anything, we are creating a spiritual reality that becomes the form of our spirit in that moment. And that form that we create with our intention is what gives life form. It's what gives life meaning. It's what creates perspective. Where we don't place intention, where we don't create form, and life is simple. Life is beyond perception. Life is something that's not accessible to us other than through the different forms that we create with our intention. And so now we want to bring our attention back within the present, within what's immediately available, in order to create a form that is loyal to its origin, a form that brings comfort to the one that's creating it. So by bringing our attention back to the physical organism wherein we reside, we create an intention to unite all our different body parts, all our different emotions, all our desires that all emanate from one source, to unite with their source, to unite with the origin from where they arise. And so we create a form, we create a perception that is representing accurately the reality that we're in. When we think of forms that interpret life outside of us, those forms are not correctly interpreting the reality that's in front of us, the reality that's being experienced. Because the reality that's being experienced is much too complex for our minds to digest, for our minds to have accurate opinions about it. And so the forms that we create as we interact with life externally cause us to interpret life in ways that are relatively meaningless. They lack purpose, they lack excitement. And so when we place our attention on something that was designed by the Creator, when we bring our attention back to its source, in that source we can find an infinite variety of manifestations. And so when we place our attention on our source, when we place our attention on the energy field that's vibrating inside our bodies, we're giving more power, we're giving more life, we're giving more meaning to who we really are, to that indescribable life force that's expressing itself through us, that's becoming a reality as we experience it. And so this interaction with nature, this interaction with our own nature, grows deeper and deeper, becomes more and more real as we allow our imagination to realize, as we allow our attention to linger in its own essence, so that it can start feeling itself, it can start realizing what are the movements, what are the sensations that are causing it to act, that are causing it to become excited, or that are causing it to become upset. To start feeling the body as the energy field changes, as different events take place in our lives. To become more aware of the state of our spirit, the state of our perception, the place from where we interact with life. To notice the different sides of our personality that come out in different environments and as we interact with different people. So the more we focus on our core, our inner essence, the more we're going to realize even the minute changes that are constantly taking place, that are constantly driving and directing the interactions that we have with others, the interactions that we have with life. So if we can master the core, if we can master the source, if we can master the way we feel with ourselves, then the rest of life will figure itself out. The rest of life can figure itself out the same way it figured itself out before we were born. Life just has a way of figuring itself out. And so the only real obstacle that we have is our ability to control what happens in our core, our ability to interact with our true nature in an intelligent way, in a way that's meaningful, healthy, and beneficial to the awareness that we are and the organism that we're interacting with. And what's healthy to the organism that we're interacting with is healthy to all the organisms that are on this planet. They all have the same underlying nature. They all work in a similar fashion. They're all balancing the same forces in order to find a meaningful manifestation on this planet. So from the interaction that we have with our core flows forward everything that happens in our lives. All our reactions to life are based on the state of our core, the state of our source, the state of the position from where we're perceiving, who we think we are, how we see life, the world, the people. What does it all mean to us? This is at the core of all the interactions that are going to take place between us and reality. And so the more we can focus on our core and heal our core, heal our relationship with self, heal our relationship with reality, heal our relationship with humanity, the more we're going to be able to manifest a deeper potential of our intelligence, a deeper potential of the very life force that we use in order to exist, in order to experience. Every existence, every experience is a dress of this life force, is a cover, is a lens through which we perceive the ultimate life force, the life force that conceived the concept of manifested life. So everything we're interacting with is that same life force, whether we're interacting with it inside of ourselves or we're interacting with it outside of ourselves. It's all the same life force that's dressing up in different interpretations, different possibilities and potentials. And we, as a manifestation of that infinite life force, we want to manifest as accurate as we can a representation of His wisdom, His kindness, and His truth. Because whatever aspect of Him we manifest, that aspect of Him we receive as a gift. That aspect of Him becomes us. So we want to manifest from Him the aspects we find most beneficial, so that we can become that side of Him, so that we can represent His kindness, we can represent His wisdom. And then we have that for eternity. And what we represent depends on the cleanliness of our core, the energy within our awareness, the energy that's driving our experience. The nature of that energy is what we're going to represent from the divine. What we're going to represent from the divine is what we're going to become for eternity. So in this world we can represent whatever we please. The options are open. We can represent the sweetest, kindest attributes that give life, that encourage the spirit, that create an environment of safety and acceptance where people can truly express themselves and find comforting manifestations on this planet. Or we can choose to represent the attributes of safety that were created, that represent the same source, the same wisdom. However, they're not so comfortable to experience. They're not so gentle on the spirit. And so if we represent those aspects of the Creator, then we get judged in that fashion. We end up having to struggle in that difficult environment because we imagine the source in our own image. We imagine the source with our own attributes. And so that's our reward, and that can also be our punishment. So we want to come back to our core and cleanse it from any resistance, from any anger, from any disappointment, so that we don't produce those realities within our spirit, so that we don't have to struggle with these realities eternally. So we want to heal our spirit, heal its desire for life, so that we can recognize kindness, so that we can recognize an environment that's going to give strength to our spirit, it's going to give life to our core, to our source, to the place from where comes forth all of our interpretations, all of our experiences. So we want that source to be pure, to be faithful to life, to be filled with joyous interpretations that fill the body with vigor, that give strength, that give encouragement. So we come back to our core, we quiet the spirit, we remember our nature, we remember our true desire for peace and acceptance. We allow ourselves to return to reality, to life, the way that the infinite wisdom designed it to be. And we embrace life, we embrace ourselves, we embrace our circumstances from our very core, from the source of life that gave us these circumstances at the same time when it gave us our existence. Everything comes from the same source. Everything is one united reality, one experience that we as a people, we as a race, have to learn how to accept so that we can make ourselves comfortable here. This is our home. This is our only home. This is our planet. This is our reality. So first we have to embrace it the way that it is, so that we can then make ourselves comfortable here, so that we can then figure out how to create an environment that is safe for the human species, physically and spiritually. And spiritually includes emotionally, psychologically, and even on the higher levels of spirit, and the energetic levels, that everything on this planet should be complementary to the sacred species that the divine wisdom designated as the rulers of this planet. So allow your core to unite, allow your spirit to find peace. So that it can realize the joy of existence, realize the natural happiness that is already, by default, within every spirit, within everything that exists. Because joy and happiness is the nature of the Creator. It's the nature of the intelligence that creates. It creates through joy. It creates with happiness, with aliveness, with zest and rigor. And so nature is naturally alive, and we as nature are naturally joyful. So as we unite, as we find our core, we find the truth behind all the different stories that are present in our mind, then we rediscover joy. Then we rediscover purpose. Then we rediscover the unity that allows for our existence. The unity from where comes forth everything that we are and everything that we've seen. Allow yourself to dwell in that unity.